contest page to see how you can enter to win a pair of tickets to see early 2000s icon Simple Plan when they take over the Armory on August 19th. Don't miss out on your chance to see hits like I'm Just a Kid, Perfect, and Welcome to My Life. Enter now at KFAN.com. Keyword contest.
Would you rather watch Players Tournament, 3-hole aggregate playoff, or The Voice? Would you rather watch the Players 3-hole aggregate playoff or the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Well, that was exciting stuff yesterday morning.
Well, you never know. Otherwise, a great Wolves game. It was a great effort by the team. DiVincenzo says they tried hard.
It was an exciting. It was actually a pretty exciting game. Even Finch talked about that today. I mean, I give those guys credit.
Who?
You don't find
the Wolves?
No, the Pacers, and I mean, one of those times where you just Toppin was so hot. There was not that shot he made to win the game, basically.
Should never have gotten to that.
You couldn't defend it better than the way they did.
No, they could not have. Did you see it? Did you ever see the highlight?
Yeah, I saw the highlight.
Okay, I mean, it defended as well, but he did that the entire fourth quarter.
Right.
And you just tip your cap. Sometimes you just tip your cap to the other guy. And that case last night.
I'm so tired of the softness in this town. How about these texts that just
How
came
about
in?
soft? I'm not talking about defending.
These played harder quotes are in gamers from all sports. Don't pretend it's just the NBA. You don't read gamers from other teams. Come on.
Well,
and it's like, so that makes it acceptable. Well, other teams use the same excuse. The other team played harder. So he saw this text messenger saw, oh, that's okay. They played harder. Here's another one. Common, we've just won 8 in a row. Leave the basketball to the pros, please. Just in, teams are going to lose. No, they won 8 in a row. No, they just lost 1 in a row to 5 backups. I'm sorry. I'm not soft.
Well, they had an awful second quarter, and of course that's the reason why they had to play catch up. But that is the NBA. I mean, Chris Finch of all people knows that. Just because you fall behind by 12 or 14 points means nothing, especially to that team. You know the Wolves were going to come back, and they did, and they should have closed it out in the fourth quarter. And had they done what they should have done in the fourth quarter, had nothing to do with effort. They just missed. They took some ill-advised shots. Indiana could miss. You wouldn't be having this discussion today about their effort and how hard they played the first half. You would have gone, that was a stirring rally by the Timberwolves. But you always fall back on the easy thing to do.
What's the easy thing to do?
The effort wasn't there.
That's what DiVincenzo said.
And it wasn't.
What else do I fall back on?
In the second quarter, it wasn't.
They played harder.
In the second quarter, they did do.
The one thing you can always control as a player, always, 100% of the time, is effort.
Right.
If you give it everything you got and lay it all on the line and the other team beats you because they were better, he said they played harder than us. This is one of the guys out on the floor.
And they did in the second quarter, in the first half. That's when they took the lead. I don't think DiVincenzo's referring to the comeback the Wolves had when the Indiana was playing harder than them. It's hard for you to see it because you didn't see 1 second of the game. Just because you read the account, there are certain plays that happen in the game that described the effort, and the Wolves shut down their defense. And this is what happens in the NBA night after night. Teams come back from big deficits. They rally. The Wolves had won 8 in a row. They shouldn't have put themselves in the position, but guess what? They did. And that's sometimes that just happens. And it's not an excuse. It's just a reality of the league and sports in general. And they were able to come back. And this kid Toppin was unbelievable. He banked him off. He's banking 3-pointers. Anthony Edwards is yet to make a big shot in the final seconds of a regulation or whatever overtime game. And I kept thinking, and he kind of tripped over his own feet. He should have passed to a wide open Jaden McDaniels for at least an attempt at a 3-point shot. Even the last play of the game, it wasn't well thought out. But the fact that it was still a fun game to watch. I mean, as the game wore on, and the Wolves did have the effort when they came back. Not in the second quarter where they sucked. I'm not giving them a free pass on that. But I've seen enough NBA games and enough other games to say, well, we've seen it, and they shouldn't be in a position like that.
And that's why I've given up on the NBA because those efforts are inexcusable. I guess I just hold the teams to. I hold the NBA teams to the same high standards I hold myself.
Wow, that's funny. That might be that might be the most preposterous statement, along with the one you had yesterday. That's got to win the tournament next year.
What one yesterday?
About putting. You're a better putter than 50% of the people on the tour?
You're right. I was wrong. 60%, maybe 70%.
Yeah, that should... Tenna, you shouldn't even have the contest next year. That should be the winner. If you don't have Common in there as a number one seed, then get rid of the tournament.
Why would that be a number one seed?
Have you seen him putt?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Of course it doesn't.
Better than...
So you get mad at Common commenting on games he hasn't watched, but you haven't watched Common putt, and now you're commenting on it.
Well, he's putting with no pressure.
Well, there's self-imposed pressure.
There's zero pressure. I mean, you're not putting on a...
How do you know he wouldn't be better with the pressure?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean, it's just the statement itself. Against the best players in the world, and you're a better putter. This isn't a putt course.
They're better drivers of the ball. They're better wedge players.
Right.
They're better iron players. But a putter is the equalizer. Anybody can putt.
Well,
it's a matter of having the right technique and then reading the green. Greens are not that hard to read, Mark.
Well,
I play 200-plus rounds a year.
I know.
I've been playing for 30 years. You look and you go, after it leaves there, after it gets about a foot away, it's going to break a little bit left, then it's going to come back right. And once you get the speed of the greens down, and these guys are playing on the nicest greens in the world.
I'm not suggesting you're not a good putter. I'm just suggesting when you compare yourself, that's like saying that Tenna could ride in the Tour de France or... Well,
he can. The bike does all the work.
The bike does all the work. I mean, I watched a guy, who was it? They were talking about it on Sunday. I was watching before the rain delay came in. They said, so-and-so is just having a lot of trouble on the greens right now. And so-and-so is having a lot of trouble. His putting is keeping him from being a top 10 player. I
feel bad for those guys. I don't understand how they can't.
Well, and they think about the amount of time they practice and have a coach and spend time on the greens, reading the greens and trying to do all that. That's all I'm saying is that those guys are still. It's like when you talk about the Tony Romos of the world saying I can be on the PGA Tour. So-and-so could be on the PGA Tour, Steph Curry, whatever. They have no shot.
They don't.
No, and you don't have any shot at competing with those guys on the putting green. That's just, that's okay. But you don't. If they were to lay down, 25-foot, whatever, putt, time after time after game, I'd put every dime I had on the guys that made the PGA Tour over you.
All right. Go ahead. Do it.
Well, it'll never happen.
You're not going to change my mind.
No, and that's great. I'm just saying it's a preposterous. Well, you are. I'm not suggesting you're not a good putter.
The putter is
relative.
The putter's my brush. The ball is my paint. The green is my canvas. I'm an artist with a putter. Yeah.
When you're out there and you're playing at your favorite golf courses in the morning, and there's no one watching, and you're on the 15th green, and you got a 12-footer that breaks left to right, I suggest you probably will make it more times than not, or at least come very close. But that's a whole lot different than playing on the pro tour and competing against those guys. That's preposterous.
Do you think you could have done sports anchoring? Could you do like the job that Dan Hicks does, calling golf on national television?
In the peak of my career? Yeah. If I worked at it. This
isn't WCCO television with, maybe 100,000 viewers or a couple 100,000. We're talking about millions of people watching.
I'm saying if I worked on it for long enough.
I've worked long enough on my putting where I'm better than 50% of them out there.
But no, because one thing I wouldn't have said that the players keep looking over at the 17th green of the pin placement. He said that about 35.
And he was saying it was because they just can't stop. They know what they want to see.
They're gazing at it because it's so hypnotic.
Terrified. Yeah.
You're funny.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. And if you think that's funny, wait till you see
Friday night.
Friday night.
Oh, boy.
We're calling the tour. We changed it from Flop, Sweat, and Tears. Mega Comedy Tour. Make America Giggle Again. Do you like it?
It's very good.
Sauce Island, Mandela guy. We're
you
trying.
You hats?
No, we get T-shirts.
T-shirts. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't changed the name on the T-shirt though. It still says the end of the end tour. This time we meet it or some nonsense.
Is this a one-time?
No, this is the new thing. This is the Make America Giggle Again.
Well, I'm sure Larry Mandela guy will be in his element for sure.
Should be good.
It should be. Sorry, I'm not going to be there.
Oh, that's right. You've got some kind of dinner.
I got movie night.
Movie night. What movie are you going to see?
We're going to watch Babette. We watch food movies with our friends.
Oh. So, you're at home. You'd watch at home. I thought it was going to the movie theater.
No. We're having dinner at our friend's house. Then we watched The Big Night last time we got together. It's been months since we've done that, but one of my favorite movies of all time. Certainly a food movie. Makes you hungry when you watch it, but Stanley Tucci and Isabella Rossellini. This one's called Babette, which I may have seen years ago. I don't remember.
A couple of text messages say, one says, putting is like free throw shooting. The average Joe can beat a pro at these things because they can. Here's another one that says, Rosie's logic is critically flawed. You compete against the course, not other people. That is the biggest difference between golf and any other sport.
I understand that, but I'm talking about the pressure of having a gallery. I mean, you could be a really good putter, but you get the yips. It's a whole different level when you got 1,000 people watching you. And I know I played in pro-ams. You've played in a ton of them.
All I do is make putts.
Okay.
All I do is roll the rock.
Strike my comments.
Here's what. And plus, by the way, you know what you're going to see. You know what you're going to see. You're going to see. We're calling it the match, and we're going to have. It's going to be Tennessee, me, Meat Sauce, and Brett Lakemore, and we're going to go play over at the club at Golden Valley,
right?
And we're going to have, a couple of street teamers video the thing. We're going to chop it up, and you'll see me roll the rock, my boy.
All right, can't wait.
Yeah, me neither.
Maybe we should bring some people out there to watch.
I'd love that. Be good.
Big gallery.
We got plenty to get to. We do. Talk a little bit more about the Wolves, the Wild win. Jeff Okuda, former Kitty,
right,
signed to the Minnesota Vikings.
Keep getting them. And they signed another wide receiver.
Another wide receiver. And, of course, the Minnesota Twins.
Oh, boy.
Well, one down, two more to go. We've got Lewis out. Next will be Buxton. Who will go first, Correa or Buxton, do you think?
Buxton.
But we'll talk about that with Mark Rosen when we return here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
Basketball fans, we're hosting an all-day KFAN tournament watch party at the Rabbit Hole in Minneapolis this Friday. Stop by from 3 to 5 p.m. to catch all the action with 9 to noon's Nordo. And make sure to score a limited edition Unreal Tournament hat online or on site for unlimited happy hour pricing on food and drinks. And skip the line every night through April 7th. Get the full details now at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
That sounds like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends.
Couple 13-14 pastime comedies. Tennessee, the legendary Mark Rosen is with us as well. We'll give away flops. Check that. MAGA comedy tickets. Not long from now, Make America Giggle again. Royce Lewis pulls up lame after he gets a base hit, running the bases, trying to run out to first base. He pulls up hammy, moderate, something or other. They don't think it's real serious. He won't be there for opening day, and now the search for who's going to start at third starts. I think it could be Miranda, who spent quite a bit of time there. Willie Castro could be the guy, or they could go with who was the kid that debuted last year and was playing a lot of second base?
Julian?
No.
Brooks Lee?
Yeah, Brooks Lee could be the starting third baseman. Right. But again, another setback injury-wise for Royce Lewis.
Well, at least didn't wait till opening day this time.
Yeah.
So, I don't even know what to say anymore. You guys have discussed it. It's hard-pressed to understand, and I know you could segue into the Vikings signing a guy, players who've had some injury history, and they feel so confident in their medical staff that like they're going to heal them magically with some elixir, but they feel they have a really good staff that can get people back and playing in a much tougher sport in terms of injuries. The thing with Royce Lewis or Buxton, I mean, you're not. We've talked about it for the longest time when Buxton would slam into the wall, and you made some obviously very valid points about. It's not the bottom of the ninth inning at Game 7 of the World Series. Sometimes you just have to give it up and don't crash your body into the fence. This has nothing to do with that. I mean, he's literally just doing what they do every single day. And, it's easy to question, and it should be questioned. This is a top-flight athlete in the prime of his life and his career. And yeah, guys can pull muscles, but you're down in Florida. You're not running to first base when it's like a day like this when they have opening day here and it's 35 degrees. And we know that baseball is a lot of stop and start and then explosion type of, moves. And this is something where you stretch out all the time. And it seems, I'm not just saying it seems almost impossible for someone in that condition, in that situation, to pull a muscle like that. When you go through the stretching and all the regimen that they do, unless there's something just physically, not right with him. I mean, I guess it might be just the mechanics of the way, his body is. I don't know. There's no other way. There's no other earthly explanation for it. When something like that happens, no one's hitting you. No one's colliding. You're not, we see Buxton every time he goes sliding into second base and you think, gets up and he holds a body, his hip or his knee or his ankle or something happens. And we watch baseball for the guys who are admittedly out of shape, playing through and playing through all these, all the days of the week, running out, I've watched, even the best of the best. I remember Kirby Puckett. He was built like a fire hydrant, but I don't remember Puck having too many of those types of injuries. And, I don't know. I didn't have to go back in the era of, Killebrew and those guys. I don't understand it. I don't know what else to say.
Well, I think, Tenneby espouses the theory, and I tend to agree with him, I think, because I don't have any other answer either, is that because these guys train so much and they are like Adonises, that these muscles and tendons, they're just stretched to it. Because why does it happen so often? Because you said, I don't remember, back in our day, back in the 60s when I'm watching baseball, I don't think did Al Kaline miss games?
No,
did Willie Horton miss games? Did Bill Freehan?
Big guys,
Mickey Lolich pitched 3 complete 9-inning games in the World Series. I don't get it, but it's like players do seem to be more susceptible to injuries. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have to go back that far. Even the Twins, World Series teams. Guys got hurt, but I don't remember these types of injuries. I've spent enough time in spring training. I watch. They get out in the field early in the morning, and the athletic trainers are going. They're going through the usual stretches and they're doing all the things that you see high school teams do 1,000 times, and then they go. They go play. They stretch their muscles for that very reason. The way they stretch them is because they know they have to have explosiveness. It's like you're a track star. You hit a ball and you go. It's not like you can jog into, to a position. You're exploding your muscles, but I don't know how that could even happen.
You can't pull fat.
No. And I don't know if they're overtraining, but it's still stretching.
I pulled his fat.
Yeah, that's right.
And it doesn't happen.
Anyway, I hope he comes. I know he's going to miss opening day, but every time you think, this happened. Like I said, at least it happened before opening day. We didn't have to wait that long. It's just insane. But
who do you like at third? Who do you want? I suppose Miranda.
I'd like to see Jose Miranda. He's had stretches.
He's either that or he's going to DH. Those are his 2 positions. He's not playing first because the France guy's going to play first.
Right, Ty France will play first. He gets on a tear for a couple of months, and he looks like he's going to stay in the majors forever. Then he gets into a slump. They got to send him to St. Paul, and it's the ups and downs of a young baseball career, but I'd like to see him get a shot. I think he'd be my first choice. I think he's more consistent that way, but you also want to have a guy who can play pretty good defense.
I think Brooks Lee's probably the best bet there. I think Castro can play a lot of different gloves. Lee's
just not hitting the ball right now.
And he started out, remember last year when he made his debut, he started out, I think he struck out with the bat on his shoulders first at-bat. His very next at-bat, he got a base hit swing at the first pitch. Looked like he was going to be, and this is not to suggest that he is never going to be a good hitter, but you're right. That's what he needs to do. If he could hit a little bit, it'd be a no-brainer to play him there. So you like the starting staff. You've got Lopez, Olber, Joe Ryan, Simeon Woods Richardson.
Would look good.
And then what's the other guy's name?
Paddock.
Chris Paddock.
I'm
pretty good starting rotation.
I'm not over the moon over it, but I think Pablo's had kind of a rough spring. But I don't put a lot of stock in that. They experiment and do a lot of different things, and they know when especially a guy like Pablo Lopez, he knows, as they say, when the bell rings in St. Louis, he'll be mentally be ready to go. It's good. I mean, it's a solid rotation. They got some arms. Or certainly their bullpen should be good enough to hang in there. But can they score enough runs to give them a little bit of a cushion at times? I don't know. But I think they're starting
top 10 scoring offense last year.
I mean, I think Ryan's the key guy for me. I mean, I love
You've
watching
had your eye on him for a long time.
I have. I know. I just, again, staying healthy. He's on top of his game. I think he's added a pitch. I mean, he's matured a little bit more. So I think that Joe Ryan should be in for a good year. But I think their bullpen is solid. I mean,
and then if one of those guys doesn't work, we got Zebby Matthews, and who's our other guy? You got Zebby and the other dude.
The Festa.
Yeah,
Festa.
David Festa and Zebby just sitting there waiting the wings. We've got has a team ever tried a 7-man rotation?
I don't know. I see the Dodgers got off to a good start. The baseball season started in Japan last night.
Remember there was a time where the Twins hinted at, who knows, we might just do the 1 inning for each guy every single game.
Did they hint at that?
Yeah, remember that? And I don't, maybe they're just having fun, but they talked about that possibility.
Yeah.
Some team will try it someday, I bet. Just 1 inning for each guy. So then you can pitch every guy.
It's been done.
But I mean 1 inning for every start.
Oh.
1 inning. You use Zebby for the first inning, Pablo for the second inning, Joe Ryan for the third inning. Then you do the same thing the next day. You're only pitching an inning a day.
Yeah. Stay fresh that way.
Yeah, you would think. I was hoping to hear a little more excitement in your voice about this Twins club.
I'm cautiously optimistic. Like I said, they should compete in their division. Yeah. It's hard to do handstands about them until we see what the product's going to be like on the field, but it might be kind of the same old. They should compete for a divisional title, but without collapsing late in the year.
One segment to go, we'll talk Vikings. I think, Mark, you're starting to warm up to the Aaron Rodgers from Minnesota. You kind of like that?
No.
Okay. We'll talk Vikings other side of the
Nice
break
try.
with the legendary Mark Rosen here on The Fan.
We don't just talk ball, we live it. And now we're throwing you a full court lob with $15 tickets to select March games. Don't just hear us break it down, be there. Feel the energy, lose your voice, and howl with us. Use the code KFAN ! At Timberwolves.com/March to get your $15 tickets.
That sounds like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's 10 to be. The hottest tickets in town are available right now to the 11th caller. It's the MAGA comedy tour, Make America Giggle Again. It's the Common Man, Dan Cole, Paul Meat Sauce Lambert, and Larry Mondello guy. Why are you
I just get a kick out. I'm laughing already.
See? It is. It's side-splitting humor is what
Correct.
It is. Pair of tickets for MAGA. We call it the Make America Giggle Again tour. It will be at Bogart's in Apple Valley this Friday. Tickets are available at bogartsentertainmentcenter.com, or you could win a pair right now at 1-800-320-5326, 1-800-320-5326. I see the phones ringing off.
How are ticket sales going?
They're actually brisk.
Wow.
They went from moribund to tepid to brisk. They were actually selling more tickets than I thought. Here's what's even cooler.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the calls come in, and I can see the phone numbers.
Right.
We're getting area codes from all over the country. People willing to travel hundreds, and even thousands of miles to come and see Make America Giggle Again with the three of us. So we're looking.
It's good.
Looking forward to that. His text message said, could Common drop some names of some of the pro golfers who he could beat on the putting green, please? I told him just take a look at the world rankings.
I'm sick of the world rankings.
Just look at the top 100.
All of them.
Just look at the top 100 and pick 75 of the names. Well, 50, I guess, because I said I could beat 50% of them. Just pick 50%.
Including the ones
names.
on the Live Tour.
Yes.
the Brooks Koepkas and
most of those guys aren't even trying it.
They're not even. No, they're not. They're just. They got the money in the bank already.
Here's the truth of the matter. I just know this is it. You're never going to convince me any different.
Right.
They don't like playing the live golf. No, shotgun starts and music's pounding and people are screaming and there's really nothing at stake. But the money was so good they had to do it. And they during the Players Championship they did the. I'm so bad with names. Why cannot I remember the name of the commissioner of the PGA? He did his long news conference. Tim
Fincham?
Is that it? I think it's Tim Fincham. I think that might be it. Whoever it is.
Yeah.
This long news conference. And, the questions obviously were 95%. Mm-hmm. Where are we with nil? Are we going to, or live? Is a deal finally going to be brokered so that the two will join forces and bring everybody back together again? And he was very vague, and hopefully this, all the standard, responses without really committing. So I don't know where it's headed, but I was thinking of that this week. There's a lot of really good young players on tour, and there were a lot of really good veteran players on tour. I mean, you saw Rory pull away, and he was the only really big name. I think, Justin Thomas had faded, wasn't there. Morikawa had faded and wasn't there. Spieth wasn't there. A lot of those bigger names.
Scheffler was there.
And Scheffler, but he really wasn't threatening either because he just didn't play very well. So and Schauffele didn't play well either. He's coming off an injury. So you do have still a lot of really good big names, best players in the world. But I think I do miss to watch Koepka, Johnny Rahm, and Mickelson, and there's 7 or 8 other guys, DJ and others that I would like to watch play, but I just don't know how long it's going to be. I think eventually it will happen. I just don't know when.
And they tease us because they can compete in the majors. So we'll see them at Augusta. But then, like you said, of the players over the weekend,
Jay Monahan is the name.
Jay Monahan. What did I just say?
I got Tim Fincham, and I thought that might be right too. I don't even know
who's Tim Fincham.
I don't know. I think maybe he might be the Pro Bowler Association commissioner. I think he's PBA.
You might be right.
He's PBA. Yeah.
Yeah. And you still miss, the Koepkas and the John Rahms and the people that you do watch for the major tournaments.
You could argue that Koepka and Rahm are top 5 players in the world.
I miss DeChambeau because
Well, that's another name I left out. I'm sorry. You love watching him hit the ball.
I just want to see him hit the ball. I would have loved to have seen DeChambeau, just hits on 17. Yeah, he probably would have taken out his putter to hit it. Because he's such a long driver, he could probably use a putter to get it out.
Vikings sign wide receiver. Was it Tim Jones? I don't know much about him.
He's an extra body.
Who? Yeah.
And I think they're going to be without Jordan Addison for the first 3 games. And it's not official yet, but it's certainly heading in that direction. So I think they're looking for more depth at that position, which is, not going to make or break their season, but, he's one of those guys. And, they signed Okuda, as you mentioned earlier in the show. A top draft pick a few years back, played with your kiddies for a while. And, again, this is where I think the Vikings have a lot of confidence in their medical staff. He's had, he's getting a 1-year contract, kind of a prove-it type of contract.
He was the 3rd pick overall about 4 or 5 years ago.
He's only 25, I think. It's one of those things where if you can stay healthy, get him healthy, stay healthy. It's kind of a low-risk situation for the Vikings. And, they're checking a lot of boxes right now, and yet a lot of these guys still have to, again, they have to prove it and stay healthy. All of course, that goes with any team, as we saw with your Lions team last year. But, the drama will continue through, the draft will be a whole lot different because I think the Vikings have plenty of options at 24 if they stay at 24 and don't move down to grab another, get a second-round pick as well, which they don't have right now. But there's not that sense of urgency that we thought we might have. Got to get that offensive lineman. Well, they filled 2 of those roles, and they got 2 defensive linemen. They got some safe defensive backs. They know Harrison Smith is coming back. They got the running back from San Francisco to help with Aaron Jones, who was re-signed. So they've done a lot of work already. I think right now it's just a matter of who the backup quarterback is going to be, and I think
it's the only piece left.
I mean, if they go down the Flacco, Ryan Tannehill route, so be it. I can't, really, I know one of the Steeler players was outspoken going, I don't want to hear any more about retreats and blah blah blah. Aaron, if you're going to sign. We're not waiting. And he's not the coach or the GM. He's just a player. But it's just, I think it's pretty typical of the kind of the feelings. Like, well, if, A-Rod, Pittsburgh is, to me, it's the obvious place for you to go. I mean,
why not Minnesota?
Well, because he'll start at Pittsburgh.
He could start here.
He could. I don't think he would, but he won't come here unless he starts. So, and they're not going to make that guarantee, I don't think. I mean, if they want to pay him $10 million, if they want to pay him a Sam Darnold contract, I wouldn't pay him a dime more. He doesn't need the money, and they don't need to spend that much money on a quarterback. Why would they invest that much in a quarterback? They would have kept Sam Darnold if they wanted to do that.
Let's see. How many MVP awards does Sam Darnold have?
How many? Well,
0. How many does J.J. McCarthy? J.J. McCarthy hasn't even started one game in the NFL.
I understand that.
Favre's
Neither did Jaden Daniels last year.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. What do you mean? Yeah. Well, yeah.
So you think J.J. McCarthy's the next Jaden Daniels?
I think he can be in that. He was in a quarterback draft that was very successful. Even Caleb Williams.
Yeah, but he was the 5th quarterback taken. Well, it wasn't the first or the second or the third or the fourth.
Well, the Vikings moved up to get him too. I mean.
But just because they moved to get him doesn't mean that he's going to be good.
I think I trust a lot of the NFL experts. I don't know. Of course, he has to prove it on the field. But, I think that's where the clock is ticking. I don't think you want to wait another year to let JJ sit on that rookie contract and develop, as we saw with the other rookie quarterbacks last year. Doesn't mean the Vikings are going to win 14 games this year, but I think he's shown enough that they want to give him a shot. I don't think it's would do them any good or J.J. McCarthy any good to sit for a year behind Aaron Rodgers. I just don't. I think it would stunt his development even more than last year.
Did it?
I just don't see it. I don't know why.
22.
I don't care if he's 22.
Did it stunt Jordan Love's development? He sat for 3 years. He looks like he's playing fine to me.
Okay.
It can happen.
Yeah, of course it can. But I don't,
You just don't like Aaron Rodgers. You hate him.
I don't hate him at all. No, I just don't think that J.J. McCarthy, when you draft your future franchise quarterback, I want him on the field sooner than later. And unfortunately, last year, we all know what happened. Now, he's had the full year to absorb, the playbook, to simulate everything that's going to be happening. By all accounts, he's a very bright guy, very analytical, great athlete. A winner at every level he's played at. I don't want to slow his development by having him sit for another year. That's all. I think that day and age of look at the quarterbacks we're talking about for this year, and even though it's not a great quarterback class, I don't see the Sanders kid think he's gonna sit. The Giants should take him and probably start him. They're not going to wait on these guys. So, just my feelings. I think they should start JJ, yeah, and I think they will.
God, I hope they sign Rodgers.
Well, if they do, they do. It's not going to be. I think that by now
you would be against the move, though, obviously.
I'm not thrilled. I wouldn't be thrilled about it because I don't know what parameters they would have, and A-Rod isn't coming in here to back up JJ McCarthy.
Well, no, of course not. He's here to win a Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, if they feel pieces are in place, Brett Favre.
You just said they are. You said all they need is a backup quarterback and we're ready to go.
That's acknowledging that Aaron Rodgers at where he's at right now, and he can still sling it, no doubt about it. But can he fit into what KOC does in his system and work with all that and not give the death stare to wide receivers if they drop the ball? All those sorts of things. It's not so much an anti-Aaron thing. It's more of a pro-JJ thing. I just want to get the clock ticking on this kid. If it doesn't lead him to the big game this year, so be it. But I think the Vikings are building a window of opportunity for the next 3 years that J.J. McCarthy will be the guy at the helm. That's all.
This text messenger says, Common Ram is ranked like 120 in the world golf rankings. He's been trashed since he sold out to Live.
Well,
that's not how it works.
No, it doesn't.
Live players don't earn world ranking points. They happen for 3 years. So if you're playing Live and not playing on the PGA Tour, you're going to plummet. It has nothing to do with your play.
No.
Rahm could start this week at Valspar and finish top 2 or 3.
Right.
He just could. He's got that kind of talent.
And I miss seeing him play.
You don't look at those world rankings and see. And there are, I believe, still some live players that are in the world rankings. They
Interesting.
3 or 4
it is.
just because they were so
pretty wild.
They were so far up the.
Yeah. Well, at least we got the Augusta to look forward to see those guys play.
Yes, we do indeed, and we'll get to see Bryson DeChambeau blast
isolated camera
into the Georgia Pines, and you just love that.
I can't wait.
You love hitting him watching the pine straw.
I love it.
Let's go out to 14 or wait. Well, he's supposed to be playing 14, but he's over.
He's on 15.
He's over in 14.
No,
he's over on number 2. 3 fairways over. So there we go with the Vikings. The Wild Club.
Yeah.
All they do is find ways to win without.
Not always.
They were out with Kaprizov. They were without Eck.
Right.
Without
Bodine,
and without who were they without left?
Foligno
last night. And yet they found a way.
Gutty
to
win.
It's a gutty win.
Yeah, it was. I was flipping around and watched.
The Blues didn't try harder than they did. They could have. They tried as hard as they could.
Gus Bus is playing awfully well, but it's. Guerin has made the proclamation. We don't know when. I mean, it's probably going to be a few weeks yet. But Brodin's skating, which is a good sign. But Kaprizov and Eck are not apparently yet. So they're still a ways away from returning. But can those guys, when they get back, and the Wild are going to be in the playoffs. I mean, they're going to be in a wild card at least. Can they turn that switch on? Will they be right? Well, Kaprizov in particular, I know Tennis talked about it. Like, is he going to be kind of a slow starter to kind of come back from this long layoff when he's the guy that makes the engine run for that team, and obviously so does Eck and Brodin. Those are 3 of their top 6 players. So, but yeah, it's encouraging to see them. Maybe if they can continue to play this style, and they've had some success. And get the kind of goaltending they're getting right now, that when they get Kaprizov back and these guys back just in time for the postseason, they can actually win a series, which would be refreshing.
There was a text message that just came in, and I think this makes a lot of sense. It says, where'd it go? They come in so quickly that I was just about to read. Here's where it says, let's put it this way. Mark wouldn't come out of retirement to go read cue cards for a mid-level news station. Mark would only come back for the best with a chance to win a local Emmy. Same thing with Aaron. He's not going to go play at Pittsburgh.
No.
He's not going to go play for the Giants. He wants to play for a team that all they're missing is a backup quarterback.
That's why I'm starting my podcast next week.
Oh, you're doing a podcast?
Yeah. Wait till you hear about it. It's going to be very exciting. Very exciting.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. Abbott can let me talk about it, so it's okay. Yeah. Talk North Sports. And yeah, with we're going to have a big debut soiree at the Parlay downtown on March 26th with Michael Russo and Lavelle Neal.
Wow.
And Jim Suhan and who else am I missing? I don't want to lift.
Boy, it's a who's who of.
Yeah, it's everybody who's under the umbrella of. And I'm going to be starting my own Rosen Sports Monday podcast.
Rosen Sports Monday.
Yeah. The cat out of the bag. Got some great guests going to be lined up. Not just sports, but other things. So I'm excited. So I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to win another Emmy. I just got enough of those sitting around.
So who's first, Achmad or Kessler?
Kessler. No, Shelby. Shelby actually is going to be one of my first. Well, I'm starting one next Monday, but. You know why? Because the first one I'm actually, after the big soiree we're doing downtown, is on April the 7th. You know what April 7th is? Monday.
And that's where the two of you will sit down together and watch for the 54th year in a row.
Going back to Bird and Magic.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but we're going to talk a lot more than...
Always watch the Final Four together. It's amazing.
The championship game.
Do you know Tennessee and I, how long we worked together now?
You've worked...
19, approaching 20 years here soon.
For 20 consecutive years, we've watched the boys Minnesota State High School hockey tournament together.
You have. Yep. It's amazing.
And the basketball tournament.
Which starts today. Does it not?
We watched the first.
Today?
We watched the first and second rounds of the Masters together for 19 years.
Amazing.
It's a long time together.
No ways to go.
Yeah. Which is why you guys watch it together, because you were working in the same building.
Well, we were for a while, but Now we get together and make,
so
Shelby makes a Cincinnati chili. So that's, oh, it's so good.
I like chili. I like the Final Four. I'd like to be invited. Be awful nice.
No, it's just the two of us.
Yeah. Just the two of us. Do you know who did that song?
I don't know. Can't remember.
Grover Washington.
Grover Washington Jr.
Grover Washington Jr. Not senior.
Junior.
Grover Washington Jr.
Yes,
Paul Flatley died.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, I got our friend Tom West had texted me to let me know that because we had him on School Stories last year. And Flats was, I mean, a great businessman, terrific guy in a lot of ways, and one hell of a receiver. People, obviously too young to know the name or understand that he was. I think he was Rookie of the Year in the NFL. He played at Northwestern, was a terrific receiver at Northwestern, and went on for long. Played with the Vikings, obviously, and they did go for analysis for a long time, and really kept his toes in the water for football, but also a very successful businessman and a great leader in the community. So I think he was 83 or 84. Mm-hmm. So I heard about his passing over the weekend.
Yeah. Rosen's podcast name should be Swordfish. I like Rosen Sports Monday. I like that a lot.
Yeah, those guys deserve all the credit for that.
Playing off the the run of how long did Rosen Sports Sunday last?
30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had no swordfish last night. Tilapia last night, which had a nice spice on it. Put it in the air fryer. Oh my God!
Really?
And I got a new trick online about how to best make a baked potato without having it just stick it in the oven for an hour and whatever. Cut it in half.
Okay.
Oil on both sides. Salt and pepper on both sides. It's in half. Put it in the oven at 425. Half hour. Turns to a golden brown. Set to go.
No.
Honestly, it was weird. I literally found it. I don't know how. I'd never cut a baked potato in half before I made it, but it worked. So I guess, like I said, you drizzle a lot of oil on both sides and salt and pepper it, and it seemed like half the time what it normally would take to make a baked potato, and that was just in the oven.
Do you know?
So I'm enjoying cooking a lot more now.
Do you know what the best way to peel a banana is?
Tenna? No. He's right.
I always love that one.
Tell him, Tenna.
Yeah, from the opposite end. The opposite away from whatever you call that peel stick thing is at the end.
Thanks to you, that's exactly what I do now.
Right. Yeah,
and it worked. Doesn't get all those strings on there.
That is, and it doesn't because the stalk, the stem.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you pull it, it doesn't snap right away, and it squishes the top of the banana.
100%. No, I think one of the great tips of all time.
For me, it's the best tip I've ever received.
Yeah, it's right up there, and I get the bananas, put in my cereal. It's all good.
Yeah. I do.
Very educational.
I'm hooked on oatmeal again. I like making oatmeal.
Yeah, oatmeal's good.
Oatmeal, it's got a lot of fiber.
Well, there you go.
I think it does, doesn't it?
What is today?
Today is Tuesday, so you'll be back tomorrow. Tennessee, you may have heard Steve Kerr say that he thinks that Steph needs time off, that he's tired.
Yeah.
I think that's been Tennessee's problem with his productivity. Hasn't been as well. We're giving him some time off. We're giving him the rest of this week and all of next week.
Are you kidding?
I love it. Load management.
He needs some load management. So Tennessee had planned to come in and continue to work, but we're giving him.
I'm going to start acting tired more often.
Yeah. So,
well, how nice of you.
So, we're giving him time. So, Max.
Enjoy your time off.
Max will sit in that chair.
Good.
You'll be back tomorrow, 2 o'clock.
Back tomorrow,
right?
before I go to the Wolves game tomorrow night.
Very good. Who are they playing tomorrow?
New Orleans.
That's a big one.
It's not a big one. It better be a big one.
Tennessee, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You too, and we'll see. We won't see you for a couple of weeks.
We'll see you next month.
See you next month, yeah.
All right, Tennessee.
We'll be back tomorrow at 12 noon, Max and I, and then Rosen at 2. But stick around. Big Ticket and JG, they're next, right here on The Fan.
You like that? You like that? Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
Later.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.